Well, I've been taking a couple of days off of the Triumph over there to finish up this bike, 1983 Honda CM450A, and it's pretty much good to go now. I'm not really going to do a whole lot more to it. So now I'm going to get back to the Triumph. I have been put it off for a couple days for a few reasons. One of them is I know I can get the engine to start now. I've already done that. The battery I had in it was way too tall. It's sitting over there now. I'm just going to keep it and use it to do other things. You never know. It's extra good to have a spare battery sitting around. So now I have a battery that fits down in there nice and snug, and the posts are on the right side, and my fuse is hooked up nicely, and I went ahead and hooked a charger port to it. That way I can just plug it up anytime I need to. Yep. So I also tried to just use a little bit of rubbing compound on the gas tank just to see what would happen, and you can kind of see the difference here. This whiteness is how the whole tank looked, and just like maybe 2 minutes of rubbing, it seemed to have cleaned it up pretty well, and doesn't look like it took any of the other paint off. So I don't know that there's a clear coat. It doesn't feel like there's a clear coat on here at all. I think it's just straight up paint. So yeah, but that's down the road. I mean, there's spots like right there, it's rust. That's rust. So I'm gonna have to address that at some point. I want to try to keep the paint original. I mean, that's my goal, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. This rust here is really going to be the biggest issue. It's not just this spot. There are several spots. But the other thing is, the inside of the tank is perfect. There's no rust on the inside at all, so I'm not worried about that. But I want to remove these badges and see if there's any rust underneath there. I haven't done that yet. It needs new petcocks. These are leaking like crazy. When they're turned on, they leak like crazy. So these new petcocks. The left exhaust port is leaking, so I need a new seal on that. I'm going to put new fork seals on. I'm going to try to clean up these forks. They're not pitted. It just looks like surface rust. But if you look like over here where it's shiny, it's not pitted at all. So I'm going to try using some steel wool and, clean them up. And if that doesn't work, if it's still leaking, then I'll have to replace the whole tubes. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but inexpensive. But if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. So today, I'm going to work on this front brake. Try to get it, and I couldn't decide whether to start with the front or rear, but I decided to start with the front since Gary had a rebuild kit for it already. So why not? I mean, all I got to do is take it apart and hopefully rebuild it. So this mounts right up here. And you can see it's all nice and nasty in there, and I don't know if that's salvageable or not. I don't know if I'll be able to make a new gasket for that, or if I'm going to have to order one. But I'm going to try to get this whole thing torn apart and get a good look at everything, make sure nothing's clogged up. I put some brake fluid in it just to see what would happen, and it looks like it's mixing with the old brake fluid, so it's been in there for a couple days. I'm hoping it's cleaned up the system a little bit and will make it a little bit easier to work on. I'm not positive, but I think this caliper might be locked up. You can see the wheel's real hard to turn, and you can kind of see right here where it's kind of digging into it. Now this is nice and smooth, so there's no there's no grooves in it, so still nice and smooth on both sides. The pads look fairly new. I mean, they're pretty thick. I don't know if you can see them down in there. They're pretty thick, so I'm not too worried about those pads, although I have brand new pads too, so I'll probably just go ahead and put them on since I have them, since these are rusty and who knows what's going on. So yeah, that's my goal today, is to get this front brake taken off and apart and inspect it and try to get it to work properly. So I think shouldn't be too hard. I think my main issue is probably just going to be bleeding it properly. And that's not too hard. If you ever try to bleed brakes by yourself on anything, it's hard because you have to have, you know, pump. You know, you go up to the handle and pump it 3 times and hold it while you bleed and then close. There are kits you can buy that you can do that yourself, but there are other ways to do it also. One way is to, you know, pump the brake a little bit until it's done, put a rubber band around it, or a zip tie or something to just hold it in place, and then come down here and pop it, and then just repeat that process multiple times. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I've got this little rubber band here. Or, I think I mentioned this in another video. Where did I put that thing? I might have put it in the drawer here. No, I don't know where I put it. Well, shoot. Is it still laying over here? Yeah, it's still laying over here. Okay. So, as I was saying before, this is just a bicycle inner tube. I bought it brand new and just cut it, and I use it for all kinds of stuff. So, what I'll probably do is I'll cut a section of this off and somehow rig it up to just hold that brake for me. You know, maybe you stretch it out so it slides over this, and then the other end will hook into the brake handle, or I may just tie it. You know, I don't know. I don't know if it'll work or not, but you know, these things are, I'm telling you, if you don't have one laying around your garage just to cut up and use for things, they're amazing. You know, say you want to create an insulator between, like you can see where my battery post is, real close to my coil there. I could cut a piece of this and slide it down in there. That way I know for sure they're never going to touch. You know, same thing over on this one. I don't know if you can see it very well, but and yes, I know I can just twist the coils, which I'm going to, but for now they're not touching, and I'm not worried about it. I mean, I'm not riding the bike like this. So anyway, yeah, keep an old inner tube around. You'll be amazed. So there it is. We're going to go ahead and start on the brakes. Wish me luck. I think I'm going to need it. So looking at this hose, it looks like it has some cracks in it, but it may still function for now. So that means I may need to get a new one. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull this all off, and I'll get back to you. Well, I've popped the bleed on it, and you can see a little bit of brake fluid coming out. And watch this hose right here when I hit the brake lever. Let's see if I can get it to do it. Maybe if I get it from this angle. I don't know if you can see that, but the hose is moving. Okay, that tells me I'm getting pressure at least down to that. It tells me I'm getting pressure down to this joint here at a minimum. Flip that back around. So I'm at least getting pressure to here. So it tells me whatever the problem is from here down, I hope. Everything else looks like it's okay. Yeah. I mean, the hoses look a little bit cracked, so they'll need replaced. There's no doubt about that. But right now, it's just to get it functioning and try to get the brake to work. So now I'm going to take the caliper off. Alright, so apparently to get this caliper off, you have to remove the front wheel. So I've got that pulled off. I've disconnected the brake line from it, and I'm getting no brake fluid at all coming out of this hose. However, when I pull the brake lever, watch this hose. So something's getting down into that hose, but why is it not coming out? I don't know. Is there a check valve inside there or something? Should be. Every time I squeeze this, it should pop right out of gas, or brake fluid should be coming right out of the end here, and nothing's happening. So I think what I'm gonna do is find a little awl and just kind of stick it up in there and feel around a little bit and see what's going on. Maybe there's just something that's clogged it, and that's our whole issue. I mean, I may not even need to rebuild that caliper. So I'll give that a whirl and get back to you. Alright, I've got the caliper off, and I was able to move that piston fairly easily, so I don't think there's a problem with the piston. I'm not going to rebuild it right now. I've got the kit up there if I need to, but I'm not going to. The brake pads, yeah, they're they're shot. They're just all rusty, and I mean, they're probably okay. I could probably take some sandpaper to them and they'd be fine. But since I have a brand new set sitting up there, I'm just going to go ahead and put them on. And I'll just keep those around in case, who knows, maybe I never find a good set again and I can, you know, clean those up and use them. But since I have a brand new set, I'm going to go ahead and put them on. And then I'm going to put this all back together, because I think my only issue is that this hose is clogged right in here somewhere. And I've been using this to stick up in there, and you can kind of see there's something stuck in the end of it. I don't know if it's focusing or not, I can't tell. But there's something clogged up in there. So I've been using this to kind of slowly go in, and using some deep creep to kind of, you know, help it lubricate and get up in there a little better. Yeah, and I think that's my only problem. It's just that there's something clogged right in here that I need to flush out. So I'm going to keep working on that, and I'll get back to you. Well, this line's not getting cleaned out. I've tried running a coat hanger through it many times, and it's just, you know, doesn't matter which way I push it, right about here, it just keeps getting stuck. So I don't know if the brake fluid sitting over time deteriorated the rubber and it just kind of melted together, or if the brake fluid dried up and is clumped up in there. I don't know, but either way, this is bad. I just ordered a new one from Baxter Cycles, so I don't know when it'll come in yet, but you know, I literally just ordered it, so they haven't said when it'll come. But alright, the front brake, I believe once this gets replaced, will be good. I'm not seeing any other issues with it. Everything else seems to be working out fine on it. So we'll, when the new hose comes in, I will update this video.